Hey, house guests, welcome to today's BB23 updates and spoilers. What's going on? Hope you're all having a great Tuesday so far. It's a crazy day. Well, it's been a crazy day catching up on what happened yesterday. So, oh my goodness. Our house guests of the day are the T of Texas, Maria Elena Orbea, and Andrew West. Yay! Thank you all so much for the mail. You guys are awesome, and we cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much for the support. We couldn't do without you, and we appreciate it so much. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests today, check out our Patreon link in the info box below, or send us some mail like these three cuties. We have our P.O. box listed down below. So I also want to thank our super chatters before we get started here. But Rhonda said she got the cookbook. I hope you love it. Thank you. Super chatters from yesterday. Jefferson Tucker, Don MH302, Jason M, Derek Johnson, Jamie Martin, Bree Alexander, John, and Alex Paredes. Thank you so much. Super chat is an awesome way to support the channel. So thank you for keeping us doing what we're doing. Oh no, Adam said, oh, his grandpa passed away. I'm so sorry, Adam. So sorry for your loss. Our hearts are with you. That's very, very difficult. I'm sorry. I hope this nonsense can be a good distraction for you and take your mind off of things, because it's a doozy. Yeah, when we left off yesterday, we've got Brittany and Sarah Beth on the block. We saw Brittany won the power veto, and Derek X was still planning on backdooring Christian because he feels like he should have the votes to pull off this move. Because let's face it, if you put up Christian and you don't have the votes to pull it off, that's really bad. He's not the type of player that you want to swing and miss at. So Derek X decided that he wanted to go ahead and give Alyssa a heads up before the power veto ceremony. This was Hannah's idea. And if you want the full details on that conversation, check out yesterday's spoiler because I went through it all. So just the highlights here, just the main thing. Of course, Alyssa was trying to keep Christian off the block. She's telling Derek X, it's too soon to make this move. You may not have the numbers. Like, don't break up the alliance. You don't need to do this. Like, don't do other people's dirty work. But Sarah Beth also, she stopped in to talk to Derek X, and she's encouraging him, make the move, put Christian up on the block. She lets Derek X know, Alyssa and Christian are planning on targeting you next week, whether you put up Christian or not, which is true. They have discussed targeting him for sure. So Derek, in return, let Sarah Beth know a little piece of information. He told her, the Kings were planning on voting you out if you were up on the block next to Big D, which is true. They had discussed it extensively. They were planning on doing that. So quite a bit of information being swapped here. So then they had the power veto ceremony, and Brittany used the power veto on herself, of course, as one does. And Derek X went ahead and nominated Christian in her place. Damn. Okay. So then that means we've got Christian versus Sarah Beth up on the block. And it's Sarah Beth's birthday, or it was yesterday. Oh my goodness. Just a spoiler alert for the spoiler. We did not get that, like, Keisha's birthday moment, but yesterday was so insane. Okay. So as of now, Christian is going. That could still change. We've still got a lot of time left before the vote. But after the POV ceremony, I mentioned yesterday, Alyssa was telling Christian she tried really hard to keep him off the block, and she really did put in some work. But she thinks that Sarah Beth and Kai are to blame here. They threw them under the bus. They told Derek X that they were planning on targeting him. And Christian is just mad at himself at this point that he didn't take a shot at Derek X last week when he had the chance. You know, he was HOH. He had the power veto. He could have done it, but he didn't. So anyway, moving on. Guess what? Derek X was still doing his Lord of the Latrine punishment, like after the power veto ceremony, and Christian had to go to the bathroom. Oh my God, how awkward. So Christian took the opportunity to have a little conversation with Derek X, and it wasn't like he was yelling at him or anything. It was pretty calm. And Christian's like, everything you heard was from Sarah Beth, right? nah, he's heard from multiple people that you're targeting him. But he says, Sarah Beth told you that we're coming after you because that's her plan. You knew because Sarah Beth told you. She made up the lie. And Derek X says, I will neither confirm nor deny that I got that information from Sarah Beth. So then Xavier comes over and he's waiting for the bathroom. I'm sure he wanted to hear this conversation as well, but he was waiting for the bathroom. And Christian keeps saying that this is Sarah Beth's fault. And he tells Derek X, you're out of $5,000 and on shit duty because she was selfish. Not shit duty. Oh my God. He's talking about Sarah Beth taking the $5,000 instead of going for the veto during the competition, the veto competition. So he's like, who does that? Like, you're nominated and you don't go for the veto. But at the same time, Sarah Beth was out very early in that veto competition, and there was no way that she was actually going to end up with the veto at the end. But I do have to say, too, it is not a great look if you're on the block and you don't take the veto, because you never know what could happen after you're out. But whatever. So then Xavier says, I know this is like bad timing, but I've got to pee. So he's like, can you just like do this conversation later, or like let me skip ahead in line? So yeah, Xavier went to the bathroom. Christian keeps talking to Derek X, and Christian says Sarah Beth is playing both sides, and he says we have a lot more to tell you about her. We can't keep her around. Okay, so then Christian uses the porcelain throne, and then he's got a little bit more to say to Derek X when he comes out. Christian says, you are my shield. I'm telling you that. I'm your shield. We're each other's shields. It doesn't count as a shield if you're targeting the person. So Xavier is still there as well. And he says, my former team needs to meet. Like, he doesn't want to judge Sarah Beth or like condemn her for anything before they meet and talk things through. Enough with the teams, Xavier. Enough with the teams. Okay, so then Christian says, if he stays, everyone's going to think that he's coming after Derek X. But he wouldn't be. He says, if we work together, we can knock off every other one of these people. So he tells Derek X, it's in your best interest for me to stay. Sarah Beth is playing everybody. But then it was time for the Kings to meet. Just kidding. No, it wasn't. Meanwhile, that's coming up though. Meanwhile, Sarah Beth and Alyssa were chatting in the coral bedroom. Excuse me. And Alyssa says, I was really confused like during the power veto competition because I was trying to win the power veto to save you, and I didn't know that we were going for prizes. A likely story from Alyssa. I mean, I think she was going for the power veto for sure, but she had told Christian if he felt uncomfortable and like he was going to potentially go up as the replacement nominee, she would not use the veto, even though she had already promised Sarah Beth that she would. So Sarah Beth says, I really did believe that you would have used the power veto on me, but people are putting doubt in my head. She says, people are saying I might not be safe if I'm up on the block against Big D. Yeah, the Kings were definitely planning on voting her out. So then Alyssa is fully turning on her acting skills here. She's like, why wouldn't you be safe against Big D? What are you talking about, Sarah Beth? So SB asks if Alyssa is mad about the veto. Yes. So Alyssa says, I will say that I was shocked that you took the money during the competition. I took that as, if you're not gunning for it, then why are we? Like, you're the one up on the block. So Sarah Beth explains why she took the money. She says, I asked Brittany if she was going to take the power veto because Sarah Beth, again, was out pretty early in the competition. And Brittany said, yeah, she was. So there was no way that Sarah Beth was going to be able to win that veto. So then Alyssa's like, well, from where I was standing, it looked like you felt very safe. But even with that, I was still trying to win that power veto to save you. Okay. So then the former Kings have a former team meeting in the coral bedroom. So we've got Xavier, Alyssa, Christian, and Sarah Beth. They got to really cut it out with this team shit because most of the other teams are not still doing this whole team meeting thing and all that. So Sarah Beth says, I thought that Big D was going to be the replacement nominee. And I was under that impression until this morning when Derek X told me in the gym that he was considering putting up Christian. That's a lie, because Sarah Beth was in on this plan very early on. But Alyssa and Xavier say, we tried our best to keep Christian off the block. It sucks that it's come to this, that we've got two kings up there. But Alyssa says, I don't understand why Derek X would go against the Alliance. And she's referring to the Royal Flush Alliance, which is kings, queens, and Derek X. And she says, I don't think Brittany was ever even really the target this week. Duh. Come on now. So Xavier says, I think somebody got in Derek X's ear to split up our team. And Alyssa says, well, I don't think this was a smart decision for Derek X. He can't even play for HOH next week. So he's going to have all these people coming after him. And Sarah Beth is like, I don't think that Derek X would have made this move unless he knew that he had support for it. And he had enough people to vote out Christian, which we know he does. So Alyssa says, it's pretty obvious who got into Derek X's ear. She says, Kyland. She says, Kyland knew everything. He orchestrated this whole thing. And she's like, you think Baby D had the balls to do this alone? Damn. Okay. So Sarah Beth says, I think that Derek X is smart enough to come up with this. I mean, it's not rocket science going after like one of the biggest comp beasts in the house. Come on. But Sarah Beth again is saying that Derek X must know that he has the votes, because you don't want to take a shot at somebody like Christian and miss. So Christian figures Derek X must have the queens with him, which means that Christian's going to go home because he doesn't think he can pull together the votes if the queens are not with him. So Alyssa's like, I don't even want to talk game right now. So she leaves the room. I think she just meant she didn't want to talk game with Sarah Beth. So as Alyssa was leaving, I just have to mention, Brittany like peeked into the room and she is still wearing that Power Veto necklace. She's just a gem. So Sarah Beth and Christian hug. They're like, no hard feelings, blah, blah, blah. Sure. Okay. So after Sarah Beth reports back this conversation to Derek X. She tells him all about the Kings meeting. And she says the Kings think that Kyland is the mastermind of this plan and that the Queens must have flipped on them. Okay, so Christian and Alyssa, they retreat to the have-not room, and Christian's like, I'm going home. I don't have Claire or Tiffany's votes. You know, when Tiffany hugged me, it felt like a goodbye, like poor you hug, not like a we're gonna fight this hug. So then Xavier comes in and he says he's gonna figure out who got in Derek X's ear about all this. So Alyssa's insisting now that it's Sarah Beth, not Kyland. I think she was thinking it was Sarah Beth this whole time, but she didn't want to say that in front of Sarah Beth. So Xavier says, if that's the case, then they're going to take out Christian this week and they're coming for us next week. And Alyssa agrees. She's like, yeah, me and you are going to be up on the block if we don't win that HOH. So Christian's pretty upset because he could have taken Derek X out last week. And Alyssa keeps telling him that's in the past. She's trying to get him to focus on campaigning and what he can do moving forward to try and stay this week. So Alyssa says, we really need to focus on the Jokers because there's 3 of them. And that could be really helpful with the votes. You only need 5 votes to stay this week. So if he has the 3 Jokers, Alyssa and Xavier, that's enough. So Christian feels pretty confident that he has Big D and Brittany already locked in. Big D told him that he's going to be voting for Christian to stay. That's a lie. And Brittany has a final 2 deal with Christian. So he feels like he has her as well. And Brittany is playing along with it. So, yeah, he's hoping he's going to be able to get Azza on board as well. So Christian's like, should I start campaigning now? I don't want to wait for our lives to be over. No, I don't want to wait until the last second like people have been doing this season. He says, I want to campaign for the next 3 days, whatever it takes. So Alyssa confirms she will also be campaigning for Christian to stay. Oh boy. And Xavier says he's going to try and convince Tiffany and Claire to keep Christian. So he's going to put in some effort as well. So then Christian and Alyssa were alone, and Alyssa's saying she thinks that they should spill about the Royal Flush Alliance to the Jokers and Hannah and see if that does anything to help them. You really think that Hannah is going to go against Derek X's wishes? What? Also, Hannah already knows about the Royal Flush, but whatever. So then Xavier goes outside to chat with Tiffany. This is too much. And Xavier, he brings up Tiffany's plan to get the Cookout to the final 6. And we all know about this plan. Everybody in the Cookout, except for Derek F, has their like partner that is not part of their alliance. And then they're just going to like pick them off one by one. So Xavier thinks that Derek X is closer to Kyland than he is to Hannah, because DX is supposed to be Hannah's person. But if he's closer to Kyland, that would mean Kyland's got Sarah Beth, he's got DX, he's got all these other people he's close to. Xavier thinks that Kyland has too many people in his back pocket. And Tiffany says, no, you're wrong. Like, DX is not as close with Kyland as you think he is. So then Tiffany starts bringing up all the people that Xavier is close to. Hello. His freaking former team is still fully intact until this week. He needs to give one of them up already. He's being a little bit greedy with his numbers from the Cookout's point of view. So Xavier says, I think that Kyland needs to be the first one to go once the Cookout gets to the final 6, because Kyland would have the most people in jury. He is sitting pretty, and I don't feel comfortable with that. So Tiffany's like, yes, thank you. I've been saying that. Like, she's agreeing with him for sure. So Xavier says he's not happy that Sarah Beth is crying in Kyland's arms instead of his. He's like, she is my teammate, and he has Sarah Beth in his back pocket. That should be me. That should be my back pocket. So Tiffany is like, well, we can take Sarah Beth out next week. We can do that. She's all too happy to do that. So Xavier is frustrated that he's got 2 teammates on the block this week. And he says nobody else has been in this situation aside from the Jokers. Oh my God. Stop! Xavier, let it go. Okay. Moving on. Christian and Alyssa, they wasted no time. They're already hitting the campaign trail. They didn't take the time to really like plan out a strategy. They're just like going for it. So they're talking to Claire, Big D, Brittany, and they're basically saying that if Christian stays, he will be a target in front of everybody else. He's going to be a shield. Plus, he's good at competition, so he'll be able to win and take out big threats. Guess what? The campaigning is not working so far. But Christian thinks that he has the Jokers. I mean, to be fair, they are leading him to believe that he has them. So I got to tell you, I got to share with you guys Big D's description of Alyssa and her campaigning for Christian. He says, she is working like a good housewife, trying to get these hoes off of her man. Love it. Okay. So then Derek X and Xavier were having a chat in the HOH room. And Xavier is letting him know both sides are already campaigning hard, which I don't totally agree with that, because I don't see Sarah Beth really like campaigning yet. But anyway, Christian and Alyssa are more than making up for that. So Xavier says, I've been trying to take some of the heat off of you by saying that you probably didn't make this move by yourself, which is true. He has been saying that. He's been pushing that somebody must have been in Derek's ear. And I got to say, it's kind of working. Like, of course, Christian and Alyssa would still want to target Derek X, but they're also pissed at Sarah Beth and Kyland, and they think that those two are responsible for this. So Xavier says he's going to stay neutral this week. He doesn't want to campaign for either of the nominees because he wants to make sure he's still going to be cool with whoever stays. So then Derek X says, all right, I've been talking to Kyland, and I want to get the 3 of us strong guys working together because we're going to need each other in this game. And I mean, that's part of him taking out Christian, because Christian and Xavier are very close. So he's hoping with Christian leaving, he'll be able to pull Xavier in to work with him. So Xavier agrees. He's like, yeah, we're going to need each other. Makes sense. All right. So then Derek X says, if Christian does stay this week, you have my full approval to take a shot at me, because if that happens, then I have no idea what's going on in this game. All right. So in other news, Derek X's Lord of the Latrine punishment or duty, if you will, ended right around 3 p.m. yesterday. I gotta say, that was a really fun punishment for us to watch. It was a good time. I can't believe it was only 24 hours, though, because I feel like it wasn't like that intense that it would have to be that short. But what are you going to do? So then a little later, Sarah Beth and Hannah were chatting in the bathroom, and Hannah lets her know, I think it's smarter to just sit back and not really start campaigning right away the way that Christian is. She says, you need to take the time to come up with a plan. If you start campaigning 15 minutes after the power veto ceremony, people are going to be wondering if you're actually going to follow through on all the promises that you're making. True, right? So she tells Sarah Beth, keep doing what you're doing. Enjoy your birthday. Just relax. And Sarah Beth says, Brittany gave me the same advice. And you and Brittany have both successfully survived the block. So I think I should probably listen to you guys. So Sarah Beth has kind of been laying low a little bit. All right. So Alyssa and Derek X chat in the living room. And Alyssa's like, why did you keep asking me if I was throwing your name out there? And Derek X says, well, I was hearing from people that you were, and the stories were all matching up. So Alyssa's like, out of all people, I was saying your name. Yeah, you were. But Alyssa's asking, Derek X says, I've been hearing that I was considered as an option to go up. And Alyssa asks, you don't think you're considered every week? You don't think the Royal Flush has to act like we're not the Royal Flush? I mean, Alyssa has said to other Royal Flush members that she wanted Derek X out. But Derek X says, I don't think that you necessarily would have come after me, but Christian would. And Derek X says, the way I think about it, I would have targeted me if I was Christian. And like, if I'm thinking about this move, he probably is too. So Alyssa's like, well, I guess you're just going to have to watch the episodes after this and see that, like, we were being honest with you. He's going to watch back the episodes and be like, thank God I took out Christian. So then Derek X says, I guess somebody's got to be lying to me then. And Alyssa says, I guess you thought that it was me. It was. And she says, it's fine. You know, it is what it is. So later last night, Claire got her punishment costume. She is the Duchess of the Deck. And this lasts for a week. And she's wearing a gold unitard with this like playing card over it. Kind of like a sandwich board situation. But it's fabric. And she also has one of those like cone princess hats from medieval times. And a tiara on top of that. So layering the head accessories. Fun. And it's not just a costume. She has to do 52 card pickup every time Big Brother tells her to. Yikes. Okay. So moving on. Christian and Alyssa continue their campaigning. They're talking to Brittany out by the hammock, and they feel really good about the chats that they've been having with Azah. She seems really receptive to what they're saying. And they're hoping that Brittany, as Azah's former teammate and close confidant, will be able to help them seal the deal with Azah and get her to vote for Christian to stay. So Christian says, if we can get Azah, that would give me 5 votes, which would be enough for him to stay. And then he's like, once I have those votes locked in, I'm going to go talk to Tiffany and Claire, and they will be on board if they know that the vote is going my way. And that'll give me 2 extra votes, so it'll be 7-2. But, like, that's not happening. Christian doesn't actually have the Joker's votes. They're just playing along. But he could have Alyssa and Xavier's votes. So it could be a 7-2 vote, but it would not be in his favor. And I say Xavier's vote because I believe Xavier was saying he kind of wants to vote for whoever is leaving to stay. I'm pretty sure he's saying that because he knows it's going to be Christian going. Or he wants Christian to stay, whatever. I think if he had to choose, he would want Christian to stay. But I think he would vote for Christian to stay even if he was going because he wants Alyssa to still be cool with him. He wants Alyssa to be a number for him. All right. So then Azah joins them on the hammock. And this is the perfect opportunity for Christian to make his pitch. So Christian says, this is what he's prepared to offer to the Jokers. He says, next week, you guys are going to be up. You're going to be back up to 4 members of your team because you're going to have me. Teams are dunzo. Okay. But he says, if I win HOH next week, you guys are going to be like honorary HOHs. You can pick what music you want. You can pick what stuff you want in the HOH basket. The room is yours to use, and you will have all of the power. He says, you guys can control what I do, and I will target anybody you guys want except for Alyssa, and I will take the full blame for it if you guys don't want the credit for it. He's saying you won't have to get any blood on your hands. Why would they even think that he would follow through on this? It's just ridiculous. But anyway, Alyssa adds, if she wins HOH, none of the jokers would go up on the block, not even as a pawn. She's not promising all that other stuff, though. So Oz is like, wow, that's a good offer. She says she's going to think about it. No, she's not. Ozza and Brittany are totally set on voting Christian out. And they are trying to basically string Christian along at this point because they want him to feel comfortable all week. So they're telling him, like, I got to think about it. I'm feeling good about it, though. Like, they want him to feel like it's going to happen. And then they're going to vote him out because they want to make sure that Alyssa is going to be distraught going into the next HOH competition. They do not want Alyssa to win. Also, they want to let Xavier know, hey, your buds, Christian and Alyssa, did not include you in their deal because, again, Christian was saying you can pick anybody to target except for Alyssa. He didn't mention Xavier's name. So that's going to come up again. But Kyland began his punishment around 10 p.m. last night, and I believe this one also lasts for a week. He's dressed up in a donkey costume. I love donkeys so much. They look so cute and so sweet. So this is fun. And he's also got an apron on because he's going to be cooking. He's got to prepare club sandwiches every time Big Brother tells him to. They're going to tell him how many to make. They gave him the recipe, and it's pretty involved because he's got to make like bacon for it. And I believe there are vegan options as well. There's some vegan bacon. So the have-nots are allowed to eat the sandwiches. So that's nice for them. Okay, so later. Oh, my nose is so itchy. Later, Alyssa and Xavier are in the HOH room, and Alyssa is telling him all about the deal that Christian offered to the jokers. And she says, yeah, Christian told them that they could choose for him to put up anyone except for you and me. That's all fine and dandy, except Azza spoke to Xavier just before this and let him know that Christian did not include Xavier in this deal. So Alyssa's lying, and Xavier knows it. Like, Azza talked to him literally like 10 to 15 minutes before Alyssa did. So then Christian comes in. They're also, again, talking about the deal that Christian offered to the jokers. And Alyssa kind of like cuts Christian off. And again, she's saying like the jokers could choose to put up anyone except for me or Xavier. And Christian's like, yep. He goes along with it. Y'all are lying! Okay, so then Christian says this deal was really just to convince Azza because Brittany and Big D are already on board. And Christian and Alyssa agree that Azza's face just lit up when she heard the offer. They think that she's going to go for it. She said that it was like a verbal agreement and she's just got to sign off on it. But I guess Big D's school of fakery is really paying off for Azza. I mean, she must have flashed that smile at them, right? Because they're believing that Azza is into this and that she's going to keep Christian. And she's not. So then Christian's asking, did I do good? I'm so proud of that plan that I came up with. Like, Alyssa didn't even have to hit me to stop talking. Okay, so that was all last night. Today, yes, Azza's smile is beautiful, but then that fake one that she does is hilarious. Okay, so then today, people have been noticing and commenting on how much Sarah Beth has been crying lately. They feel like it's more than she was before. They are annoyed by it, and they suspect that a lot of it could be fake tears. The Moaning Myrtle comparisons are back. People are getting a little bit worried that some people are going to get so annoyed with Sarah Beth that they're going to vote her out and Christian's going to stay. So they're even telling Kylan, like, make sure she, like, chills out because the crying is too much. All right. In other news, Christian and Derek X had a chat in the HOH room today, and Derek X apologized for putting him up on the block, and he says, I figured since I was thinking about making this move, you were probably thinking about making this move against me. And he says, I didn't know when I would get the chance to make this move again, so I felt like I had to go for it. And Christian says it's understandable. You know, the thought has definitely crossed my mind. But he says it did not cross my mind last week when I was HOH and had the power of veto. Actions speak louder than words. You know, he could have gone after Derek X and he didn't. But then Christian is saying, what could I do or offer you to show you that that paranoia is gone and that we could work together again and not go after each other? He says, let's fully agree not to target each other until a certain day. Like, let's choose a specific day so that it's, like, really set in stone. And he kept bringing up, like, they should pick a certain day. They should decide definitively, like, how many weeks they would not go after each other. I think he ended up saying, like, 3 weeks. They could do 3 weeks, and then the 4th week, that's it. But he's like, we are each other's shields. And at one point, he also brought up bringing in Alyssa and Hannah to the safety deal, so it would be a 4-person deal. It's the same shit that they were doing before, but then Derek X was like, I'm not doing this anymore, and he targeted Christian. Like, he's not going to do it again. He's not going to make that deal again. This is it. It's over. So, anyway, Christian says that Sarah Beth is flying under the radar, and she's in people's ears. She's got to go. So, Derek X is like, okay, what do you think my game will look like if you go this week? And Christian says Xavier and Alyssa will be targeting him. Like, he's still going to have a lot of people working with him, but those two will be coming after him. So Derek X is like, okay, well, who would you target if you were to stay? That's a good question, right? So Christian's really vague about it at first. He's like, I would like to keep the royal flush together. So what, you're going to go after the jokers? Come on. He says, then I would be willing to go after your target as long as it's not Alyssa. So it's basically what he promised the jokers already. It's BS. This campaign is not working. But I will say during this conversation, Christian did manage to pique Derek X's interest a little bit, because at one point Christian tried to throw Kylan under the bus, and he said, yeah, when I was talking to Kylan during my HOH week, he was telling me that out of all the royal flush, like, he was kind of scared and nervous about you. So Derek X definitely wants more information on that. He wants to see if he can get it throughout the week. Try and find out what Kylan was saying exactly. So that is something that Derek X is interested in, but the campaigning wasn't really working. So we've got 2 days left until the eviction. As of right now, Christian is leaving. But we'll see what happens. You never know. I know Christian was saying today he kind of wanted to just chill out and lay low a little bit because he did go so hard with the campaigning yesterday. And it really was a lot for a Monday. But we'll see. Sarah Beth also, I don't know if she's going to do much campaigning today. Hi!
Chloe told me it was time to come in.
That's right. But we'll see how it plays out. We've still got some time left before the vote. Hi, Bowie. Yes. So I want to thank all of our super chatters. Woo! Oh, are you feeling good now? You feeling better now? You are so dang cute. Okay. Hold on. I just want to get our most recent super chatter out here before we start. My mouth is so dry. It's disgusting. I think I ate like something really salty either like yesterday or today, because it's just been
probably the Chinese food.
Could be. We had the spiciest Chinese food ever over the weekend. It was nuts. All right, let me just get a little water, and then let's do our super chatters. Okay. So our super chatters today, Jesse Magallanes. I hope I said that right. Thank you so much for the super chat. Rosa Aguine or Aguine. I feel like I'm Aguirre. Is it?
Okay, yeah.
I feel like I'm messing up everybody's names today, and I apologize for that. But Rosa says she got the cookbook. Yay!
And she loves it.
I'm so glad you love it. That's awesome. And thank you for the super chat. Dawn MH302, thank you so much. Jody Cortez, thank you so much. She says, crazy night. See Nicole A video I sent. So funny. We'll have to check that out. Thank you. And thank you for the super chat. Yeah, yesterday was absolutely insane. AR Chan 1785, thank you so much for the super chat. And he says, thank you. I couldn't listen with all the whispering, would give me a headache. The whispering is a lot. Mostly because, like, all right, you're trying to, like, really key into this and, like, figure out what they're saying, and you got your volume turned all the way up, and then, whoa,
comes in.
the feed's cut, and it's like, brr, 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 like, right in your brain, and it can be rough. But thank you so much for the super chat.
Probably caused permanent brain damage.
It probably has. And I have to say, they've been cutting the feeds a lot in the last few days. I wish they were playing that. No, honestly, I wish it was just silent when they cut the feeds like Big Brother Canada does. That would be so much better. But anyway, Alex Paredes, thank you so much for the super chat. And Alex says, would you want a power shift next week? Thank you. Appreciate it. I would like to see a power shift next week. I would like to see the cookout kind of be tested a bit. Maybe see some of them go up on the block because things have really gone their way this whole time, and I want to see them be tested. You never want to see anybody just like steamroll to the end. It's kind of boring when that happens. Vajrath, thank you so much for the super chat. And Vajrath says, fun fact, you don't have to be 100% committed vegan to make vegan meals. They are a healthy and delicious choice for anyone in any occasion. That's right. Thank you so much.
That is a great point.
For saying that. And that's a great segue. If you guys, if you guys are interested in trying out our first ever cookbook, plant-based air fryer cookbook, here it is. We actually have a bunch of copies over there that we still need to give out to our family, but if you guys want to check it out, we have a link in the info box below. It's a great cookbook. We hope you love it. And if you guys are enjoying it, feel free to leave a review on our Amazon page because it really helps us out.
That pesky algorithm.
Yeah, right? All right. So thank you all so much for being here today. It's been a wild week so far, and I think the rest of it probably will be. So hang on. Buckle up your seatbelts.
Grab a life vest.
Refill your water bottles.
Kristen.
Yeah. So thank you all so much for being here. We'll see you next time. And until then, much love. Bye.